I'm slow. Okay, this is, that's the one I want. All right. This is call to order of the regular meeting of the Board of Education, March 17th, 2025. This is a meeting of the Board of Education in public and is not to be considered a public meeting. First, we need to approve a treasurer pro tempore. Anyone want to volunteer?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'm not going to be very loud. I just got over the flu, but.
Okay. I'm going to just sit in that corner over there.
Listen,
See how Kim sounds?
I'm over it.
Okay.
I still sound really awful as well.
Okay. Do I have a motion to have Ms. Anderson act as treasurer for the evening? Moved by Ms. Bryant. A second? Seconded by Mr. Kilgore. Could we have a roll call? I'll just do it. Ms. Anderson?
Abstain.
Okay. Ms. Bryant? Mr. Carter is not here. Mr. Kilgore?
Yes.
I have this brilliant idea to do this on the computer, and then the computer doesn't cooperate. And I also say yes. I say yes. Come on, there we go. Okay. And we need a roll call, please.
Sorry. Dr. Turner?
I am here.
I am present. Ms. Bryant? Mr. Carter is not present. Mr. Kilgore?
Yes.
Okay.
And please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Board members have had the opportunity to see the agenda for this evening. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we have a vote, please?
I will vote yes. Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Mr. Carter's not here. Mr. Kilgore?
Yes.
Dr. Turner?
Yes. Board members have also had the opportunity to see the minutes of the regular meeting on February 10th and the special meeting on March 10th. Do we have a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we have a vote, please?
I vote yes. Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Mr. Kilgore?
Yes.
Dr. Turner?
Yes. Special orders, Mount Healthy Teachers Association, Ms. Wakefield? Communications?
No.
Announcements?
No.
Any public input this evening? I haven't gotten a card. Okay. We have, a presentation by Michael Burdett.
Good evening. I'm Michael Burnett. I'm the technology coordinator for the district. And I'm here to present to you just a quick overview on E-rate. I think you guys have heard it at many meetings in the past, but just want to make sure you understand exactly what it is, especially now with having to go through you guys to approve something and then commission to approve. Want to make sure with the deadlines that are coming up with the E-rate program that everybody knows what it is and how it works, so that when we get to times when you have to vote for it, it'll be an easy yes because of the importance of it. So for those in the audience and those who don't know, E-rate is a program that's administered by the Universal Service Administrative Company. We call that USAC, and that is the eclipse from the last time we had the eclipse. I realized that'd be a nice backup. So the mission statement of the E-rate program is to help ensure that schools and libraries maintain high-speed internet access and telecommunications at affordable rates, and keep students and library patrons connected to broadband by providing a discount on eligible services. And we're going to focus obviously on our school and not the library. But if you have the phone bill, which I'm sure everyone does, if you look at it and see this line that says Federal Universal Service Charge, mine was 85 cents for that month. Everyone has it. They have to have it, and that is where the E-rate money comes from that charge that the entire United States is paying. So Congress wrote the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which directed the FCC to establish this program. The FCC issues orders that sets the rules and policies for the program, and then USAC are the ones that run the program and are responsible for the day-to-day administration of the E-rate program. You guys remember you had approved a few months back appeal for strategic management systems. That's our E-rate consultant, and he's the one that helps us make sure that we file everything correctly, and he's a huge help. He's a great guy. Just talk to him on the phone. I wish I could talk to him every day. It's just a really nice guy. Anyway, so funding year. E-rate's funding commitments are by funding year, which is different from fiscal years that we have in the district. The funding year for E-rate starts on July 1 and ends on July 30th. And USAC refers to the funding year in which the services will be happening. So this upcoming funding year will be funding year 25, and that's when we'll either install the equipment that we get or use the services through whatever company we get the services through. So that's when we apply for 2025. We're starting in July 1 of 2025. Who's eligible for E-rate? Schools, libraries, and some non-instructional facilities, like our board office, can get a few things for E-rate, and it helps that we have kind of a extension of our high school down in the basement. There's a cycle for E-rate. It's a 5-year cycle. We're actually at the end of that 5-year cycle for the Category 2 funding. And then they're going to be reevaluating for the next cycle of money. So that's why it's important, and I'm going to show you how much money that we have in our E-rate, that we use it, because you never know what's going to happen in the current political climate. Even though it's separate from the federal government, it's that bucket of money from our phone bill is the FCC, which is a federal institution, so you never know what might happen. So hopefully, keep your fingers crossed, because you'll see when I show you the numbers, we have saved millions of dollars by being in the program. So there's 2 categories that E-rate funds can be spent on. Category 1 is the connectivity to our building, which would be the internet that comes in from, right now HCC is our provider, or technically it's Cincinnati Bell, but HCC is the one that makes that work. And then category 2 is the connectivity in the buildings. So when we say the network, that's what we're talking about there. When the network goes down from the switches and servers, that's category 2. It's also what we call MIDS, that's the management of our network, and then it's also the maintenance of the network. The internal connections, not only are switches and servers, but also the access points. Hey, there's one right there. That's what gives us the signal from our network. So those are also purchased from E-rate. So again, category one is the internet that's coming into the district. We currently have a contract with HTC covered by E-rate, and we applied for that funding in 2023. It's a 5-year contract, so you guys already approved that in 2023, and that goes until June of 2028. So to put in perspective what E-rate does for our district, for category one, we get a 90% discount. So last year it was $120,420. $120,420 was the actual cost of the internet that we pay for our entire district. With E-rate, we got a 90% discount on that full rate, so we actually only pay $12,000 for our internet that comes in the county because we applied for E-rate. So it's very important that we apply for this E-rate and utilize those funds. So category two, if you remember, I said that's the internal connections. So we have switches, access points, backup batteries fall into that. And just to give you an idea, we have 158 switches in our district, in all the buildings, and 341 access points going up there. Category two is also the management of our network. So we have Cisco, Meraki Cisco switches, and so HCC right now are the ones who oversee that and make sure that that's all running. And it's also the maintenance of our internal connections. How we got this discount, they look at our poverty level, and that's the percentage of school, national school lunch program eligibility, and then if we're urban or rural status. So because of our status with 100% poverty, we get the most discount, and that's 85% of eligible services. So what does that mean? So that means over the last 5 years, this is what's left in our pre-discount budget, $339,644.88. That's what we have left from our 5-year cycle. And note, if we don't use this money, it's gone. So this year, if we don't use this, it goes bye-bye, and we hope that E-rate will have some more funds for next year. And for those in the audience or looking online, this is money that has to be spent by the guidelines of the program. So you can't say, oh, we need to add this to our general fund so that we can help ourselves. We can't do that. We have to use it for things. But the things we use it for will help keep money from being spent from the general fund. So the three things to use this budget for category two, like I said, was managed broadband, managing our system, switches and APs, which is access points, and then also we added in this application our hotspots. So first thing, managed broadband. Currently, HCC manages our network. That contract does expire in June, so we're accepting bids for someone to manage our internal network, and I'll talk about the bids later. And again, we have 158 switches, 341 access points that someone has to manage. We also are going to bid out for switches and APs. We have some switches that are no longer supported. The warranty's over. They're no longer have support. And we have ones that will be expiring soon. There's also a new standard for APs, and that's called Wi-Fi 6. And our current APs are not at Wi-Fi 6. So our plan is to replace those so we can use our budget. The plan is to replace those that we can with the budget that we have available, that $330,000. And that way we'll save the district money in the future because we're using the E-rate money. And just in case the E-rate money gets underfunded or goes away, we will have replaced some things. Because if it didn't exist, we'd be paying 100% of the cost. And it's a lot, as you'll see. And then some of our buildings, like the board office, have switches that actually have been out of warranty for many years. I won't say how many exactly. But luckily, we can replace a few in the instructional buildings that maybe have a year still left, and those can be brought here so that we are up to code that way. And then hotspots. Currently, we have hotspots that are being paid out of general fund. It's a small number, but if students need them, we do have it for them. We can use E-rate money to pay for those hotspots as long as students are using them. So right now, if we have one that's not checked out, we still pay that monthly fee, so we keep it. But if a student uses it, then we can apply it toward E-rate. So that'll help on that cost. So there is a process. First, we file a form we file a form 470 that tells the service providers what we want. And then the service providers get a bid telling us their cost, and that's what the process we're in right now. So a couple more days before that bidding window closes. End of the bidding window, which, like I said, is Wednesday, we have a bid evaluation matrix where that we have to use my E-rate program rules to pick the service provider that we want. So we don't just pick, oh, this is our favorite, or we like this person. We have to do this matrix to get points on this matrix, which includes obviously cost. So that's the biggest portion, is the cheapest bid, which is obviously the bigger point there. So we can put other things on our own. For example, we worked with the company before, the companies in the state. I've gotten some bids from California, and we necessarily work for in California. We have to make that decision. We make those our categories in our bid matrix. And then the point, whoever gets the lowest points, the most points in the bid. And then we file a 471 from the USAC. So presenting this to you now, again, because the bid window closes on Wednesday. We have until March 25th to file the 471. I know we're having our meeting now. The commission doesn't meet until the 26th, but that's okay. We just want to give you the information so that the process isn't impeded. And then, working with Brian, when we file, we're going to file a letter of intent stating that we're accepting this bid, but it has to be board approved, then it has to be commission approved. So we're not really signing any contract. In fact, the filing of our 471 isn't binding. So we could file the 471 and then decide, Bill Gates came and gave us $30 million, and we'd rather use his money than E-rate money to buy this equipment. So it's not binding. What makes it binding is when we sign the contract with the winning bid, which again, because we are getting this letter of intent, we don't have to sign yet, because we're telling them we can't do anything until you guys approve it and then the commission approves. So we'll actually be okay there, and that way we don't miss the E-rate deadline, which, like I said, is the 25th. So it's a win-win situation. You look at it, a $339,644.88 budget, which is the money that we have, reimbursed at an 85% rate. That means all these things we need to run the district, management, switches, APs, which normally would have cost over $330,000. I don't know exactly how much, because I haven't picked anyone because we're still in the bidding process. But that's only going to cost us, I did 15% of this number just in case we spend it all. It's only going to cost us $50,000 to get this much in services and equipment. So definitely this is something, I can't see why any board and any other district would ever not approve E-rate funding, because it's a win-win situation. Any questions? Great, thanks for listening. Hopefully it doesn't.
Can any of that money be spent to replace actual computers?
No. So it's all the connections and the internet or the broadband systems, no computers. We've looked at every situation of anything we can use and can be used for that. Good question.
Okay, thank you. Let me see. For those members of the audience who do not wish to stay for the business portion of the meeting, now is the appropriate time for you to leave. Next on the agenda is the Great Oaks Board Report.
Okay, so our last official board meeting was before the February Great Oaks meeting, so I have updates for the February and March meetings. February 12th, just a couple of things to highlight: the high school applications, the priority deadline for sophomores, to apply for Great Oaks High School campus programs was February 4th. President and CEO Harry Snyder reported the application totals. Diamond Oaks had 539, Laurel 554, Live 629, and Scarlet Oaks had 938. The board also approved the contract for the renovation of Laurel Oaks Exercise Science Lab in the amount of $585,537 as presented by the Building and Assets Committee. The work will be undertaken by Prodigy Building Solutions and will include an outdoor space for that program. And then some highlights from the March meeting, which, full disclosure, was Wednesday. I did not attend, but I did get some notes from that meeting. So a year ago, we participated in a ribbon cutting ceremony to unveil the Live Oaks campus in Milford to student, staff, and the board. We returned to Live Oaks to host a monthly board meeting on Wednesday. Students in the Live Oaks Culinary Arts and Hospitality Service Program also prepared and served dinner to the board prior to the meeting. The board also approved the 25-26 academic calendars for all 4 campuses. And in the legislative report, Mary Cleveland presented testimony given on February 26, 2025 by Ohio career technical education leaders, including Harry Snyder, to the Ohio Legislature's House Workforce and Higher Education Committee. The testimony stated that the governor's executive budget proposal, HB 96, provides level funding for OTCs at $23.1 million for both fiscal year 26 and 27. While the stability is appreciated, the educators respectfully submitted that it falls short of addressing rising demand and the recently expanded footprint. They requested a line item increase to sustain Ohio's leadership in career technical education and meet growing enrollment. An additional $1 million increase to the OTC line item for each fiscal year was requested, raising totals of $24.1 million in fiscal year 26 and $25.1 million in fiscal year 27. This modest investment would enable OTCs to increase access to programming, expand capacity, modernize equipment, attract skilled teachers, and better align training with regional employer demands, amplifying Cleveland economic contribution.
All right, thank you. Next item is the legislative liaison report. Since Mr. Carter is not here, we don't have one of those. Item 4 is the report of the treasurer, Mr. Johnson.
So, no informational items. As far as monthly reports go, I gave you guys each a copy of the normal reports you received. The cash summary just shows your, initial balance as of February, anything that happened in the month. Then your total fund balance is what we use on our bank reconciliation, just to make sure both accounts are balanced according to everything that's happened in the month. If we look at both of these, we got a zero balance as usual on both, with the same variance carryover that we've had the last, so many months. As far as book adjustments go, we've got a few of those cleared off, and every month seems like either the bank, somehow an error comes up, but we are working to get all of these adjustments off, so it's solely a balancing spreadsheet versus having any adjustments. But as of now, February is balanced and closed, and we're on to March. So we're just requesting approval of these monthly reports.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore. Seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we have a vote, please?
Everyone yes. Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Mr. Kilgore?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Let's see here. Next, we're requesting approval for some transferring of funds. Looks like for the class of 2022, from, this account 290.22 of $131.20 to the class of 2026. Also requesting the transfer of funds from the class of 2024 with a similar account, $1,500 to the class of 26, and then a amount of $3,023.98 to the class of 2025.
Do I have a motion to accept those transfers? Moved by Ms. Bryant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Kilgore. Any discussion?
So all of these are move, sorry, the 20, cost of 26 is set below 3,000, all right? That was the move of that, so 3,000.
So it looks like.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, could we have a vote, please?
Yes, Ms. Elliott?
Yes.
Mr. Kilgore?
Yes.
Dr. Turner?
Yes.
You're requesting the approval of the listed contracts.
I can, after the vote, I can give some insight into the different contracts.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Moved by Ms. Bryant. Do I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Anderson. Any discussion, Dr. Hawkins?
So on the different contracts that are listed, the first one is for a treasurer to come in. She is a retired treasurer to help Mr. Soul in the treasurer's office. So they are a little short-staffed. This provides someone working on whatever is needed because of being in fiscal emergency. There are a lot of additional tasks that are required. So she would be coming in 2 days a week, up to 16 hours a week at $45 an hour. And so that would be the first contract that is there. Number 2 and number 3 are necessary for testing of some of our bilingual students. So that is something that would be you, and whenever those situations happen, then we put those through. The last one, Julie Wakefield is here with us. I want to really just say thank you to the union and our high school staff. They have agreed to have a different type of bell schedule next year. We're going to pilot that. The contract actually says that the teacher's prep bell occurs during the school, while administration can decide on what the schedule looks like. What we are going to try for next year in 9 through 12, all of the teachers will have a common planning bell before the school day starts. So I'm just going to give these times as estimates. They're not chipped in stone yet. So for instance, they would arrive at 7 o'clock. They would have a common planning time until 7:50. Then from 7:50 to 8 o'clock, students would arrive, and the normal bell schedule would start at 8 o'clock. Still 7 bells. Every teacher will have a duty bell during the day. So we spend a significant amount of money on substitutes. During that day, if there is a need, teachers will be covering classes during that duty bell as part of a requirement, their duty. So that saves the district money, and we estimate the savings will be around $625,000 based on past year projections. So Julie, the high school, they did a vote, and it came back almost 80%. Which great. That they were willing to try this. And I think that just speaks to how sacrificing and willing our staff are to help us as we try to find ways to move towards solvency. So the MOU is included, and it is a contract. So that's why it's under the contract, even though technically there's not money exchanged in a straightforward fashion. It is saving the district money, and that will be a contract.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Could we have a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Next, we're requesting approval of the following purchase orders over $5,000.
Any when you're ready.
Do I have a motion? Okay.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
So under the contracts, the first one is for some of our staff, they utilize Windows. And Mr. Burdette did a fantastic job, as he always does, and really looked at which staff members were utilizing this technology and which really were not. And so we are just renewing for the use it. So that is what that cost is if you use PowerPoint, those types of applications. Some of our staff use them, some do not. Those licenses need renewal, and that is what the first PO amount is. The next one is for Duke Energy. We had put forth an approval for a certain amount based on an estimate, and we are going to go above that. So this is just an additional amount for Duke Energy. And we did note here that normally what the payment has been each month, and so this is what we project we would need for the next few months. Item 3, there was a backflow water test. This is done yearly, and so that was the PO for that. The item 4 is listed. This is required under for our special education services. We have a skills trainer project grant. If you note, 4 and 5 are being paid out of grant money. The other items that I mentioned are coming out of general fund. Thank you to Kristen Yancey, who was able to get us another grant for skills training, and that is $11,400 that will be utilized in our district. The next two items, 6 and 7, they're also being paid out of grant money, but this is for the Z-Space program, and some of our teachers do use that. It's a renewal. And again, they took time to see that they were really utilizing that, and it will be coming out of grant money, not general fund.
Okay. Any additional discussion? Could we have a vote, please?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And finally, requesting approval of the following then and now certificates.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Can we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Dr. Hawkins, report of the superintendent.
Thank you. As I start my report, I would like us to have a moment of silence. This last month, we have lost 2 active employees. We lost Portia Cox Walker, who was an aide at our high school on the 18th of February. Ms. Walker had been out for a little while, but was anticipating returning to us. So we were very saddened the loss of her. The other staff member, Ms. Fambro, we mentioned last week, she passed away suddenly at the high school. Wonderful news story on Ms. Fambro and the impact that she's had on the lives of many. So if we could have just a moment of silence for these employees. Thank you. want to thank Jake. He is filling in for us tonight. Our treasurer, Mr. Soul, had a medical event, and so he is going to be out this week, and so we do appreciate that Jake is tonight. I want to also update everyone on about the flag that is outside. We are aware that the flag needs repaired. We found out that the flag was needing repair when President Carter died, and we were lowering all of the flags in the district to half staff. The pulley system on that flagpole is not working anymore. So we had put through the purchase order previously to get somebody out here. Over the last couple months, the flag has actually ripped. So last week, a flag pole climber, that is a job, if any of you would like to aspire to that, came out, they climbed the pole, they could not get the flag down because it actually wrapped around some of the pulley system. They could not get it down. So they are going to have to replace the ropes, and they're going to have to bring out a lift and actually probably cut the flag out until they can replace the actual pulley system. So I did just want to know about that. We have received several people letting us know that there was an issue with the flag, which we always appreciate, but we do want our community to know that we are trying to get that issue resolved for that. Normally, in this month, we were planning to have a presentation on budgets and the financial review. And in our pre-meeting, the commission did say that we could delay that until Mr. Soul was back. So we do want to just thank them for giving us just a little bit more time. They were ready to go, but we did want to always incorporate, the treasurer. And they said that we could delay that. So we will not be having those reports tonight as we had planned. We will have them when Mr. Soul returns with us. The following are some change orders for Conger. Those are all out of contingency, the fireproofing, some paint work, some additional work. You may have seen out on the outside of the building where the parking lot they actually dug down. There was like this ridge that went down the building. They have come out. They needed to wait until we had several days that were above 40 degrees. So they have kind of stuccoed that area. It has to cure for a certain amount of time, and then they will paint it. So those are some of the last types of work that are going on with that project. We will be receiving back some money from the project, and so that's where it talks about contingency. We will be hiring 2 job coaches based on the grant that I mentioned with Miss Yancey. Amy Marshall and Amy Hibbert have been awarded the job coach grant in the amount of $11,400 to expand our job coach transition services, and we are excited about that. Mount Healthy National Honor Society did receive $1,000 from a Serve Ohio grant for Global Service Day 2025. So those are some exciting news. I passed out to the board a page that looks like this. It was passed out. I wanted to give an update on our kindergarten. Last Monday when the board met, I mentioned that we were still waiting on some financial data from the state. I think it's important to note that students are not all equal in the funding they bring into a district. So you have a base amount. Then if students receive different types of services, for instance, special education, or if they're an English language learner, they would receive some extra money based on their own individual circumstances. So you have to request that actual funding amount from the state, and then we did receive actually on Tuesday. Our meeting was on Monday. Too bad we didn't get it on Monday, but we received it on Tuesday. And this is the breakdown of all of the students at the Early Learning Center that are attending kindergarten. So of our students that are attending kindergarten for a full day, we received $1,486,897.15. If we were to move to a half-day kindergarten program, we would receive half of that amount. We heard last week a lot of issues were not finance related, to where it would be a lot more challenging for our students to have half-day kindergarten. So that means that if we went from full-day kindergarten to half-day kindergarten, the district would lose $743,448.58. The anticipated savings in staff from going from a full-day to a half-day kindergarten was just under $500,000. So financially, for us to move from a full-day kindergarten to a half-day kindergarten, we would actually be losing over $200,000, not to mention the impact on our students. So I wanted to share this information with the board officially, and officially state that I will not be bringing a presentation or requesting a vote for us to move to half-day kindergarten. Based on this, I think, I don't see how anyone could say that it would make financial sense in any way. We know it doesn't make educational sense for us to go to a half-day kindergarten. Okay. Item B, yeah, I do think that deserves applause. Item B is to approve a resolution requesting a grant from the Department of Education and Workforce.
The school calendar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I must have an older version. Did it change?
They ask us at like.
Oh, okay. I have the one. No, I'm using the one that I got emailed on Friday.
So I've mentioned in several meetings that we would like for the advance that we received to be changed to a grant. In Ohio Revised Code, there is a provision for that. Julie Wakefield is here. Her and the union brought in some senators earlier this school year to talk about this. And in law, you do not have to have a vote. It actually is a decision by the Director of Education and Workforce. So while if we can get a vote, that would be great. We also wanted to actually approach this the way it is actually written in the law. So Dr. Turner, I appreciated working to write an official letter to the Director of the Department of Education and Workforce so that we can make an official request for this to be changed from an advance to a grant. So there are two things that are in here for the approval. First is the letter that will be sent to Director Dakin. The second is the actual resolution that I'm asking the board to officially approve. And I'm going to just read the letter so that everyone can hear it. Because I think...
It wasn't just me, it was Dr. Hawkins.
Wow. So for everyone in the audience, as well as people watching, so you can hear what we are officially asking. Mount Healthy City Schools is facing a crisis. We've been working with DO, which is the Department of Education and Workforce, to address our current fiscal emergency status. And in order to meet our immediate financial obligations, we received an advancement of $10.8 million from the state to be repaid over 2 years. While we are working to meet this repayment obligation, we have also become aware of a provision in the Ohio Revised Code that allows for solvency assistance to be turned into a grant. Although we realize that this may have been envisioned as a way to address physical catastrophes, please allow us to explain why our situation is just as dire. At the end of May 2023, our treasurer of over 30 years retired. She had been recognized by the state as being an outstanding treasurer, and we fully trusted her forecast and advice. Unfortunately, after her retirement, we began to learn that our financial situation was not what we had been told. The 5-year forecast that she presented to the board in November 2022 showed a cash balance of over $20 million, and we did send the attached document that is that forecast. The following November, our new treasurer presented a forecast that showed the district as having a then current deficit of over $5 million. Shocked, we hired a series of professionals to help us discover what had gone wrong. Assuming that some accounting errors had failed to properly reflect some of our funds, that's what we thought. Instead, with each report from each expert, the news got worse. Here's a brief recap of the challenges we faced. First, failed financial forecasting. A catastrophic forecasting error surfaced following the transition in treasurers, eventually prompting external audits that confirmed a severe budget miscalculation of $18.5 million. The district's financing arrangement using COPS, COP, it's called COPS loans, for capital projects created long-term financial obligations not fully nor properly accounted for in prior forecasting. The former treasurer had not used the state software or posted detailed work showing how the forecast was developed. The State of Ohio auditor unveiled similar forecasting errors dating back through fiscal year 2020, which would have been school year 1920, of which we had been unaware. The district had passed its yearly audits, so we believed the financial data was correct that was being presented. We did not know at that time that the audits do not verify the numbers submitted are accurate. Just as a side note, we found out that the audits are actually just looking for fraud. And so they don't really look at the forecast, which is what we use to make decisions about the school year. So each year, our audits came back great. As a result, we went on an assumption that we were in a good fiscal position to discovering we were in fact in deep trouble. Although we had increased spending during COVID to address the needs of our severely disadvantaged students, we were aware that we would need to make some cuts when the medical and educational crisis had passed. We certainly had no idea we would be facing a devastating emergency of our own. Our district also faces additional burdens. So number 2, we are a high-needs district. We are classified as a 100% poverty district. We have a highly transient student population, which greatly hinders successful education. Our special needs population is far higher than average, the state average. Number 3, we have unanticipated extraordinary cost. Unreimbursed special education cost, increased expenditures in required special education services beyond anticipated funding levels strain the district's finances significantly. In the last fiscal year, the district had over $8 million of unreimbursed costs related to special education. DPIA, which is Disadvantaged Pupil Impact Aid, reduction. Unexpected cost in DPIA funding further caused us to have the budget deficits, impacting programs that support at-risk students. The sudden shift in state funding was not anticipated. At the beginning of the school year, we had not received any kind of notification that it would be cut dramatically. We lost $2.5 million in this area. Residential foster homes. A drastic surge in the number of group foster homes in our district has increased the number of highly vulnerable students in our schools. The high needs of these students led to outplacement, trauma support, and transportation expenses that were not originally budgeted. Our district, which covers a 7 square mile area, has 9 group homes. Number 4, failed levy and revenue shortfalls. The last operating levy for the district was passed 22 years ago in 2003. A November 2024 operating levy failed, and so this also led to adding to financial distress in the district. The second levy is on the May 2025 ballot. We hope that it will pass. Please talk to people about that, but that is not guaranteed at this point, and we do still need work to recover and move towards solvency. Number 5 is the severe impact on educational services. As mentioned, Mount Healthy serves a high needs population, including students with disabilities, English language learners, foster students, homeless students. The financial crisis has severely restricted the district's ability to provide necessary services to these vulnerable groups. Due to the budget deficit, the district has implemented significant cuts to staffing. 128 positions were cut, and 6 we lost to attrition. This totals around $11 million. We have cut purchase services and programming detrimentally, affecting our students' educational experiences. Without additional funding, the district faces further staff reductions and the elimination of essential programs. We are therefore requesting, based on Ohio Revised Code 3316.20 and Ohio Administrative Code Rule 126-5-01, that Mount Healthy City School District receive official certification from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce that our district has suffered an unforeseen financial catastrophe, making state intervention necessary. If our advancement could be converted to a grant, we can achieve solvency. If not, our ongoing challenges regarding state funding for our high-need students in conjunction with this unexpected and devastating financial breakdown will hinder our work and the lives of our students for years to come. We understand that ORC, the controlling board, has the authority to confirm ours as catastrophic. So we are requesting that the controlling board approve a grant from the Catastrophic Expenditures account for the School District Solvency Assistant Fund in the amount of $10.8 million to address the financial hardship caused by these events. This amount is necessary to ensure the district can cover the necessary expenditures related to catastrophic events without further jeopardizing educational services. This aligns with our Ohio Constitution, Article 6, ensuring that Mount Healthy City School provides a thorough, efficient, and tuition-free education despite unanticipated financial hardships. We're including the following documents in support of our application: the November 2022 5-year forecast for Mount Healthy City School summary page, the fiscal emergency declaration under Ohio Revised Code 3316.20, the resolution that I'm hoping will tonight from the Mount Healthy Board of Education authorizing this request so that it can be officially approved. We did get a legal opinion from our district attorneys to see if we would be able to funds, and the legal opinion did come back that yes, we were eligible for that. So we are including that as well. Just FYI, if the board does approve this, then we will email the letter and the resolution to this address that is listed here, and according to our attorney, that becomes our official application for them to consider it. After that, the director will work with their offices of the budget management to determine if all criteria have been met for that to be changed from an advance to a grant. Determination will be made and provided to the district after they have met. And then we just put, we appreciate your prompt consideration of this urgent matter. Please feel free to contact the following people. The official resolution is then listed after, And just for everyone's education, the operates officially in the realm of resolution. So when they pass a resolution, that becomes their official asking of something to happen. So the resolution says, a resolution authorizing Mount Healthy City School District Board of Education to request a grant from the Catastrophic Expenditures account of the school district Solvency Assistance Fund from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. Whereas the Mount Healthy City School District, the district, has encountered unforeseen catastrophic financial circumstances that have significantly impacted its ability to maintain essential educational services, and whereas the district's financial challenges stem from severe forecasting errors, accounting mismanagement, unanticipated extraordinary costs, revenue shortfalls, and the impact of the certificates of participation financing arrangements. And whereas the district has been declared in fiscal emergency under Ohio Revised Code 3316.20 and is actively working under the supervision of a Financial Planning and Supervision Commission to implement corrective financial measures. And whereas despite substantial budgetary reductions in staffing, services, and programs, the district remains unable to cover necessary expenditures without additional financial assistance. And whereas the district has identified the critical need for a $10.8 million in financial assistance from the Catastrophic Expenditures account of the school district Solvency Assistance Fund to address this emergency and ensure the continued delivery of educational services to its students. And whereas Ohio Revised Code 3316.20 and the Ohio Administrative Code Rule 126-5-01 provide for financial assistance to school district facing catastrophic financial losses upon certification by the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce and the approval of the Controlling Board. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mount Healthy City School District, Hamilton County, Ohio, that Section 1, the Board of Education formally requests that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce certify that the district has suffered an unforeseen catastrophic financial event necessitating state financial assistance. Section 2, the Board of Education urges the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, in consultation with the Ohio Budget and Management, to recommend a grant sufficient to address the district's financial crisis. Section 3, the Board of Education authorizes and directs the superintendent and treasurer to submit the necessary application and supporting documentation to the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce for financial assistance in the amount of $10.8 million. Section 4, the Board of Education requests that upon confirmation of catastrophic financial loss, the Controlling Board approve a grant from the Catastrophic Expenditures account of the school district's Solvency Assistance Fund to support the district's recovery efforts. Section 5, this resolution shall be in full force and effect immediately upon its adoption.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the letter and resolution as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Item C is to approve the 25-26 school calendar. One thing that is a little bit different, starting after the find that by starting after that date, we don't have to pay for the first month of insurance for our new employees. So this year it would have saved us about $33,000. The year before it would have saved us about a little over $60,000. Probably it'll be somewhere in the middle, but that is a savings just by starting school a few days later. And again, I just want to thank the union and everyone who voted. Typically, we start a little bit earlier than that, but when that was explained, they were very willing to make different calendars for the staff to vote on. That's how we determine our calendars. The staff are given 3 options. They vote, and whichever one wins is the one that we use. All 3 of the calendars did have a start date past the 15th, so we do appreciate that.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the new calendar?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Next. Number D is some acceptance of donations. We did receive a few donations to the district. We received a donation from Taste of Grace Ministries for 9 Dell laptop computers and monitors to South Elementary, so we're very thankful for that. Donation of school supplies for South Elementary, and from 2 different chapters, Epsilon Gamma and chapter of Beta Sigma Phi. The following donations we received for the high school volleyball team. We received $1,000 from Bluegrass Area 964 FOP, Clarence E. White Title Inc. for $250, Mary Utley for $1,000, Thomas H. Grosser and Company Inc. for $250. So we appreciate all donations that are sent to the district.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the donations?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please? Yes.
Thank you. Item E, there are 2 people that have requested to go on unpaid leave, and they are listed there with the time that they would like to go on unpaid leave.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? Could we vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Item F, we have some resignations, retirements, terminations, and overall separations that are listed below.
Do I have a motion to accept the resignations?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Kilgore. Any discussion? Could we vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item is item G, to approve classified personnel that are listed below. One is a bilingual aide at the junior senior high. The other is for a diet tech for our food service.
Do I have a motion to approve those classified personnel contracts? Moved by Ms. Bryant. Seconded by Ms. Anderson. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Item H is to approve certified personnel, and we do have a couple people listed. One is for a building substitute at the high school, part-time. The other is for a building substitute at junior senior high.
Do I have a motion to approve hiring for these positions?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Bryant, seconded by Mr. Kilgore. Any discussion?
I do want to note the commission did pre-approve 10 of these positions, and we are not at that level. We have hired some, and then they've found other jobs or they have left, so we are still under that 10 threshold.
Okay. Any further discussion? Could we take a vote, please? Yes.
Thank you. Item I is to approve 21st Century Grant after-school program additions. We are getting ready for state testing coming up very quickly, and we do have a number of teachers that have agreed to tutor our students after school through this program. Ms. Yancey was able to get this for us. We're very appreciative of that. It gives us the option to allow our staff to work with our students to get paid for their work, and this is grant funded, so it is not coming out of the general fund. So the people that will be working in that program are listed below.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Moved by Ms. Bryant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Kilgore. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Item J is to approve several supplemental positions. These are spring sports positions that are listed.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Moved by Ms. Bryant. Do I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Anderson. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Item K is going to look familiar to you. So we did this resolution last month. I mentioned Mr. Soul has had some health issues. Part of this resolution, you have to post in a newspaper in a certain time frame, and because of that, we missed the posting. So we have to do it again. So we have a resolution for reemployment, and I'm going to just read that quickly. Resolution to initiate procedures under Ohio law for the reemployment of a retired employee. Whereas the employee listed below is employed as an administrative assistant to the superintendent and has expressed an interest and desire of retiring with the school employees retirement system effective June 30th, 2025, and being rehired in her same position by Mount Healthy City School District Board of Education, the board. And whereas the board is willing to consider reemploying this employee in her same position, and whereas Ohio Revised Code 3309.345 provides that the board must follow special public input procedures prior to rehiring a retired employee into the same position the employee held prior to the date of retirement. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mount Healthy City School District Board of Education, Section 1, the board hereby authorizes and instructs its treasurer to make arrangements that public notice attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A shall appear in a newspaper of general circulation within the school district at least 60 days prior to June 9th, 2025, to provide the required public notice as prescribed by RC 3307.353 with respect to the following employee, Lavonda Corner. Section 2. In accordance with the public notice attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A, the public hearing required under Ohio Revised Code 3309.345 shall occur on May 12th, 2025. That's our normal scheduled board meeting for that night at 7615 Harrison Avenue, Mount Healthy, Ohio, 45231 at 5:30 p.m. It'll be just prior. This is required by law for the public to have the opportunity to come and share any input that they might want to on this retire rehire. Section 3, it is found and determined that all formal actions of this board concerning or related to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and its committees that resulted in such formal actions were adopted in meetings open to the public in compliance with all applicable requirements of the Ohio Revised Code.
Do I have a motion to accept that resolution as written?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Item L is the second reading of recommended bylaw and policy changes. And so you had them last month for the first reading. This is the second reading. We did review them with our Neola rep for things that needed to be updated, changed, things like that. I will note that we did remove one policy from last month specific to purchasing. We wanted to make sure that that reflected our current status since we are in fiscal emergency, and because Mr. Soul didn't have the opportunity to make the changes needed, we're just pulling this out for now. These are for next year, so we do have time. So that was removed from last month so that we will be able to make those changes before it is officially approved by the board.
Good, thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the policy changes as presented? Moved by Ms. Bryant. Do I have a second? Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Item M is to approve cheerleading camp overnight trip. It is the recommendation to approve the Mount Healthy cheerleaders to attend the UCA cheerleading 3-day elite overnight camp at the University of Kentucky, July 27th through July 29th. Camp is completely paid for by the cheerleaders and coaches. There is no cost to the district. If the money is not raised, then they do not attend. So just wanted to make sure everyone understands that the district does not pay for this.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve cheerleading camp?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
And that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Next, we have open discussion by the Board of Education. Anybody feel like discussing anything? We have executive session on here, but do we actually need it? We do need an executive session. Okay. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of, which purpose? This is, okay, to consider one or more of the following items with respect to a public employee or official: appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, compensation, or investigation of charges or complaints. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kilgore, seconded by Ms. Bryant. Any discussion? Could we take a vote, please?
Yes.
Yes, and we are going into executive session at 7:15. There will be no votes taken afterwards, so anyone who wants to just head on out, you're more than welcome to. Intern fund doesn't actually have a place there. Oh, there it is. There it is. I was burning up before, but it did cool down in here. All those bodies left. Okay. The date of the next Board of Education meeting is April 14th.
We need to return.
I said
Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't
said
hear
we're
you, I'm
back at
sorry.
8:12.
Oh, okay, I missed that. Thank you.
Next Board of Education meeting is April 14th, 2025. We will be meeting at 5:30 if,
No, that's in May,
oh, that's in May. Okay,
normal.
okay.
6 o'clock.
And, okay, so the April meeting is at 6. What's the date of that May meeting?
May 12th.
Okay, I will not
The
be here.
regular meeting will be at 6.
I won't be here. Yeah. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
You got it? So moved.
Okay, I'm going to say Emmett, Mr. Kilgore made the motion, Ms. Bryant seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the meeting is adjourned at 8:13.
What's happening in the